Hi, I'm Andrew Holden, and here with me is Michel Reijnen, and we're going to discuss some updated results from the AAA-SHAPE study, a study to use the shape memory polymer as a active aneurysm sac management or prophylactic aneurysm sac management technique along with EVAR. So just by way of background, you remember that only 40% of aneurysms after EVAR regress. The remainder are either stable or they grow. And those stable and growing aneurysms are associated with a significantly higher mortality than the aneurysms that regress. So we've been looking for strategies to manage the aneurysm sac during EVAR to increase the proportion of aneurysms that are either stable or preferably shrink. And Michel and I have been working on that with the AAA-SHAPE study. It's using shape memory polymer, which, just to remind you, is a polyurethane polymer. Very porous to facilitate thrombosis and then healing with fibrosis. And so we're looking to see if we can use these shape memory plugs called impede-FX rapid fill. These are plugs that come in a 5-plug introducer into the aneurysm sac to treat the aneurysm outside of the EVAR device. To date, the trial was performed in the Netherlands under Michel's guidance and in New Zealand. And we've recruited 35 patients. 70% of those patients have now had 12-month follow-up, so we've now got a much greater insight on the results of the study. We've really refined the technique now so that we have a standardized technique, and we've seen obviously a very encouraging safety profile.
Yeah, when we look at the data as they are right now, it is surprising how high the rate of sac regression is. And that's the case when you look at the aneurysm diameter, but even more so when you look at the volumes. What we've done is we've compared the both studies with a comparative group, and we see that the incidence of sac shrinkage is much higher. A thing that we'd hoped to get was the avoidance of type 2 endoleaks. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We still do see type 2 endoleaks, but they are much smaller than we used to see in regular EVAR. And they usually go away, and very interestingly, also these aneurysms do regress at 1 year.
So we've used the shape memory polymer in the impede-FX plugs, and these impede-FX plugs have been used in other peripheral arterial and venous applications. Some of the key features, as I mentioned, is that you get acute thrombosis and occlusion. You can very accurately deploy the plugs because they have an RO marker that enable you to deploy the plug accurately. And the shape memory foam has a low chronic outward force, but an ability to conform to irregular surfaces. And this is something some of the other, perhaps, plug technologies for occluding vessels don't necessarily do. So those are some of the features. It's also fully bioabsorbable in time. And as we said, it heals with fibrosis without significant inflammation. So we've seen positive results in both arterial and venous applications.
When I look at the future, there's still a lot to be done. We have now shown the efficacy and the safety of the technique. We've worked a lot on getting the procedure more standardized, more predictable. And I'm happy to announce that we submitted a manuscript on the technique itself. By the end of the year, the final results of the 2 safety trials are out there and going to be published. And obviously we need level 1 evidence, so a randomized trial is being designed and hopefully will be started at the end of the year.
So in conclusion, I think we've seen specifically with the need for active aneurysm sac management that there's an increasing awareness that we need to get aneurysm sacs to regress after EVAR. And we're another step down the road after the last 12 months with shape memory and our experience. And as Michel mentioned, pleased to publish those results in the upcoming months. And we look forward to more experience in the form of a randomized trial.